Hello, citizens, well-wishers, friends of the channel, and bored people who've stumbled here by accident. Welcome, everybody. So today, I'm just kind of going to be doing a little generally the usual in the background, but mainly this is just kind of a backdrop for me just talking to you, because some very interesting things happened to me yesterday that I want to convey. And let's see what we're grabbing here. Probably just going for the old-fashioned, yeah, Drake Dragonfly. Yeah, let's retrieve you. Look at this. Look at this. I got 5 of them now. These guys have been multiplying like rabbits here in my inventory. I have 1 loner ship, so all I'm supposed to have. Okay, so let's retrieve this guy. Yeah, so anyway... Rude. A07. So anyway, like I was saying, some very interesting things happened last night. Now, I've been getting way more active with my org. My org is a great group of people to run with, extremely helpful, extremely nice. And when we were done kind of doing our org business, we kind of just got together with a few of the, just regular people, just kind of hanging out, just doing our own thing. And we're looking for suggestions to do. A lot of people just wanted to do a cargo run, and I asked, hey, can I borrow one of your larger ships to go on a cargo run with? Well, actually, the way I started is saying, I want to go on a larger cargo run. And they said, well, you know, what's the large ship you have? And I said, a Connie. And they said, oh, I thought you said a large ship. Well, hold on a second. We'll pull a large ship for you, and you can do it right. Which is why I love these guys. I mean, if you don't have something, usually people are really nice about volunteering things to let you use and to play around with. So the first suggestion was a Caterpillar, which I'm actually very familiar with. There's very few ships in the game right now that I don't have experience with. There's very few that I haven't flown in 3.0, and even less that I haven't flown just in general. I think there's like 2 ships right now that I've never sat in the cockpit of. And one of them ended up being a Starfarer, and the other was a Cartual, I believe. I actually really want to fly one of those. So I don't want to go in this direction. I want to go in this direction. So I actually have had a lot of experience flying Caterpillars. I really seriously love the Caterpillar. Like, I want to put that on my ship wish list because it's fun. There's a lot of utility to it. It hauls a lot of cargo. And I just like the way it feels. I just like the way it flies. Yeah, no complaints at all with it. So let's just do this really quickly. And I'm not much of a multitasker, so I gotta do this and concentrate. And I'll get back to my story. And the target should be right around here somewhere if it appears, which sometimes you have to reacquire the target a couple of times before it'll appear on your map. No, I set it as my destination. Let's see. Let's try one more time. Boom. I think that made it appear. Okay. Oh, for the love of Peter. Come on. Where are you? There you are. Wow. So in the spirit of things, we pulled the star... Oh, they tried to pull the cat. And it unfortunately did that bug where... it didn't have any doors or any ramps on it, and unfortunately when you reclaim something that's that size, you have to wait a little bit, even when you expedite the fee on it. And it was a little bit longer than we felt like waiting, and the other guy's like, hey, listen, let me just pull the Starfarer and we could just take that out. So I was like, yeah, okay, you know. Looking back, I kind of realized I'd never flown it before. This would be a new opportunity, you know, something fun to try. So we pull it, and I get in, and very quickly I start to realize that I cannot fly this thing to save my life. Now, you know, everything I'm going to offer is just going to be an excuse to try to save face, but the bottom line comes down to is I was just a crappy pilot. I mean, just really, really epically bad at flying this ship. And I didn't know what was going on because it's not like I've never flown a big ship before. It's not like I have no experience or I don't know what's going on. I just had this kind of like level of arrogance saying, well, I've flown tons of these fighter ships and I can thread the needle with every one of them. So, you know, there can't be any skill involved flying a big ship, you know. Let's look at this. 6, 4. I just want to see if this splits the difference and gets us closer to it or further away. because it's kind of a long-winded story, but still, you know, if I can cut this trip down, I'm gonna do it. Alright, let's see how that works. Oh, and by the way, I'm going for Hicks, so... It seems to be a really light traffic day, so... Murder... There's Hicks. Oh, yeah, see, we got significantly closer, so... Good deal. I think I... Yeah, my stupid landing gear is still up. Oh, my God. So, anyway... I'm flying the ship, and when I'm flying, suddenly the big back end of the ship, you can almost feel the weight behind of it start to drift to the right. And when I tried to correct, suddenly the nose would kind of overcompensate, start drifting to the left. And it would just keep doing this over and over again. I mean, I could not fly this thing straight to save my life. And the only analogy I could give to it is almost like trying to drive a car on a sheet of ice. You know that kind of like, just constantly squealing your way, trying to autocorrect but not being able to do it. And a lot of it was, honestly, so I'm dealing with a mouse and keyboard, which I was told is the exact worst way to do it. And I know somebody in the comment section is going to be like, I own a Starfare and I do mouse and keyboard and I don't have a problem, you're an idiot. And, well, I'm not going to argue with that. I firmly embrace it. But, so, like, you really want to be dealing with something that's like a HOTAS or like double stick, something that has more precise, refined control. And, like, unfortunately, too, I'm also used to dealing with a lot of fighter craft. So my mouse sensitivity is set almost to the highest it can go, which is another thing that was really, really bad. But the culmination of all these things, inexperience, not using the right interface, and not having the right settings meant that I just was all over the road and was not flying this ship. I mean, it was a minor miracle that I actually got to the surface of a planet and landed, but I did not do it pretty. And when you really think about it, like landing on a moon, not a planet. When I landed on the moon is just one giant entire landing pad, so it's kind of hard to miss it. Like, you either crash or you don't crash. Those are your only two real choices. And I managed to not crash it. And those things are just built like a brick. They can really take some damage. Like, after our last Org night, I realized just how much damage one of those things can take, and I have a whole new level of appreciation for them. But the whole realization, the whole reason I'm even bringing this up is not just showing off what a bad pilot I am, but I just realized something very important about this game, and it's something that, like, even after playing for a couple of years, this game is still teaching me lessons, which I find amazing. And that lesson is that flying those bigger ships is a skill. You know, it's not something to be taken for granted. And people who do have that skill are going to be in high demand. It's not like anybody can just get behind the wheel of it and fly it like a master. Like, ideally, it takes practice. It takes, you know, messing around with it. And I'm going to overshoot this guy if I don't slow my butt down. You know, let's throttle back a little bit and see if we don't have to overshoot this. But, like, driving these larger ships, it's kind of funny, is like the Cat, I didn't have that problem with, but the Starfare, I absolutely had that problem with. I could sit down and take that ship and just fly around for like 2 or 3 days and really kind of learn how to fly. I'd have to go back, readjust all my settings to tweak them just to the right performance of getting it to work. And so, like, I just gained a whole new level of appreciation for these larger ships that I just kind of took for granted you could just get in and fly. It's like, no, it's a whole different set of skills. It's a whole different world when you're behind the wheel of one of those guys. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're new to the game and you've never flown one of those before. Really try to talk to somebody to see if you can fly it first before you kind of invest the money to get into a ship that you may not enjoy flying. Because, I mean, after that whole incident, and it's not like I don't like the ship. Plenty of people like the ship, and like 2 other guys got in the ship and flew it just fine after I got out of the pilot seat. So it's not like it's the ship is the problem. The problem was with me. But it's also something good to realize about yourself when you want to get a ship. And it's a sizable investment in money to get that ship. And it would suck to buy something like that sight unseen because you think it's a good idea, but then you fly the thing and you realize, oh my god, no, this sucks. I'm not into this at all. As a matter of fact, when I was done with that whole incident, I got out and I went right to my ship wish list and just deleted the Starfarer right off of it. It's like, it's still a great ship. I mean, I'm not trying to badmouth it in any way, so don't get me wrong in that area. It's just definitely not for me. Like, I'm definitely more fighter craft kind of, you know, single pilot ship, high performance, action, speed, that kind of. Those are the things that really do appeal to me. You know, Sabre, Super Hornet, M50, 350R, you know, ships like that. I really, Gladius. So how could I forget the Gladius? But those are the kind of ships I really enjoy flying. I just don't have the patience for the bigger ones, and that was the whole thing, because you wouldn't think precision would be something that you would be personified with a big ship like that. And patience and precision were definitely two of the things that go hand in hand with flying that ship. Okay, so let's just line this up really quickly. I have a tendency to focus in on one thing at a time, so I don't want to smack this guy against the ground or something. So ideally, so why am I not landing on the platform? I've had a lot of bad luck landing on these platforms and getting a level 4 criminal rating just from sitting on them. So I'm not even messing with it anymore. I'm just going outside the platforms, landing, and I've never had a problem doing that. And I'm not even paying attention to what building I'm going for. Usually it's the small stubby one. It's either this one or it's the one to the left of it. Probably the one to the left of it, but not a big deal. Matter of fact, let's kind of split the difference and just park in between them. And there is one other thing I wanted to talk about too that kind of branches from that same event. And as soon as I get my bearings here, I'll pull forward here in a second. It's going to be a little bit of a tight fit, but it's not a big deal. Okay. Just pull up a little bit, and we'll just kind of swing to the right, try to hang in here sideways. Let's just pull back here a little bit, and let's go down. And a little further. I'm just going to swing a little further to the right. Yeah, just right in this little gap right here. There we go. Boom! Alright, let's go engines off before I drift back up too far. Slam! And let's get up. Now, one other really interesting thing that came from that evening is not only gaining a whole new level of appreciation for pilots who can pilot these larger ships, but it's also the idea of ownership, because that was the kind of thing that was really screwing us last night, is the fact that I did not own that ship. So we were having a lot of trouble with ownership transferring over from the guy who actually pulled the ship to begin with and transferring ownership over to me. So why is that a big deal? Well, come on, there you go. It's a big deal because when you land at a place like this and you try to buy stuff, it won't let you access the ship. Habitation is not where we want to go. Let's try this one over here. Yeah, and the server is really empty today, so I don't really think I have to worry about anybody griefing or coming over here. It's a armistice zone anyway. Or at least a no-firing zone. I think this is cargo. And for people who don't know, storage, sorry. You're looking for storage. Like, that's the place where you're going to find where they sell stuff. I know it's a little misleading. It should be like store or something like that, or pickup or delivery or... How you doing? You've got the world's most boring job. Congratulations. Let's see what we got here to buy. Medical supplies, a little on the expensive side. Yeah, I'm gonna get it anyway. It's not like it's putting a huge dent in my wallet, so not a big deal. I just want to do something besides the Daymar run. I was doing that over and over again on these videos, and it doesn't really pay to keep doing the same thing over and over. Alright, let's get back over here. So back to the idea of... excuse me, sorry about that. back to the idea of ownership of these vehicles. Now, we could not transfer ownership for the life of us, and I don't think it was something that we are doing. I just think that the transference of ownership is not... I'm not going to say it's not implemented, but I don't think it's 100% functional. Like, I think you can break it just like you can break anything else. Oh, that's a sad amount of medical supplies here. Oh, I should have brought some food goods. I think the next run I'm going to do is going to be all processed food. I can just fill this thing up to the limit with that kind of stuff. And so we're landed, and we're trying to buy the cargo, and it just wasn't working. It just was not acknowledging me as the pilot, no matter what I did. Even though I flew it in, I landed it. I think it had something to do with the fact that I wasn't the one who pulled the ship to begin with, and it just was not going to relinquish control over to me. So in the end, my buddy that I was flying with, he's the one who just purchased all the cargo. He's like, you know what? I'm a multi-millionaire in this game already. It doesn't really matter. I'll buy the cargo. You just fly it back, land the ship, and sell it. And when we were going back, we had the exact same problem. Ownership would just not transfer over to me. Now, here's something that's just really important for you to know. Let's bring up the landing gear this time, because that might help a little bit. But here's something that's really important for you to know, which is, okay, so ownership is to that guy. He pulled the ship, and he bought the cargo. Now, I was having other people flying with us and checking out who the ID on the ship was, and the ID of the ship was going to me. So I finally landed the ship, got out, and Alisar would not buy the equipment from me. It would not buy it, even though the ship technically was saying I was the owner of it. And we tried everything. We tried for the guy to leave the ship. Oh, sorry, that's two now. I don't get a third. But he was leaving, and I was still on the ship, and I did everything, unlocked, closed the doors, got up, landed again, flew around for a little bit, quantum traveled away, quantum traveled back. And mind you, this is me with my insanely bad piloting skills, so the fact that I even managed to make it back in one piece was just, you know, beyond amazing. And every time I would land and get out, it would just say, you know, it would not acknowledge the ship as mine, or allow me to sell the cargo, which is a very interesting fact if you want to be a pirate, and just realize that, like, if you want to steal somebody's ship and land and try and sell their stuff, you might not be able to. Like, ownership just might not transfer over to you because of that. Let's see if I could just head back over. I'm just kind of flying around like a fool. Let's see. And there is an end to this story that I will finish off with. Okay, let's pull way back. Comrade. Set that. The Comrade should be right around here somewhere. There it is. That's another thing to really keep in mind, is a lot of times it'll tell you that you cannot go to a point or it's obstructed, but you can still go to it. Just try. You know, don't sit there and wait for it to turn green. Most of these you can just go to immediately. And very rarely are they legitimately obstructed and keeping you from going to them. So the comm point we should be going should be to our left from here. Oh, I went to the... Oh, okay. I'm being goofy. Hold on. One more jump. That's where we wanted to go.
Quantum drive is now on.
That's okay. Quantum fuel is cheap. It's really cheap because I just land my ship, let it despawn, and it just fills up again. So I don't think I've filled up on quantum fuel once since I've been playing 3.0. Alright, one more jump, and we'll be heading back to Mr. Alisar. Really? There we go, that's better. So the very last idea we had is my buddy said, you know what, I am just going to quit out of the game. You stay in the ship. I'm going to leave, walk away, quit, and then you quantum travel away, quantum travel back, land on the platform, and then there's no reason why this ship should not be yours at that point. Ooh, that's never a good sign. So That's exactly what he does. And let's turn around here the right way. So he logs off. Oh, that's 3. 3 and I'm out. He logs off. And so we land the ship. We get out. And all of the cargo is gone. The ship is still there. The ship persists. But the cargo disappeared with him. And the worst thing about it, too, is I think when he logs on, all that cargo is gone. Like, he's not going to be able to get it back. Like, the good news is, like, he's gotten to the point where, like, having that amount of cargo doesn't really mean anything anymore. So, it's not like it's a loss to him, but...
Landing gear down.
Please proceed to sign.
This guy's probably going to land right in my spot. Oh, good. No, he didn't. I hate when they do that. But that's kind of like a cautionary tale for that, which is, you know, like, it brings up the idea of, like, how does the ship know the difference between somebody who's a crew member and someone who just jumps onto your ship? And it really kind of can't do that right now. What we're going to have in the future is you can set up a party, and people who are within your party, you're going to be able to set up permissions, meaning you're going to allow them access to the ship, locking, unlocking doors, that kind of thing. And ideally, anybody who's not a part of your ship, or part of your... Thank you. Who's not a part of your party, or doesn't have these permissions set up, is essentially going to be a jacker. You know, he's going to be a hijacker. And that's how it's going to go in the future. But for right now, it doesn't really have a way of telling the difference between the two. And I think that's why things like ownership and all that with a ship is kind of messed up. And, you know, it's not broken or anything like that. I just don't think it's like either 100% implemented and 100% working. And you can break it just by, you know, like doing kind of crazy things, or just kind of trying to get overly complicated with who's flying the ship, or maybe passing ownership over too many times. Who knows what really actually breaks it. But it's something to keep in mind if you're going to be screwing around and doing these kind of multi-crew journeys. And like my advice to you would be, stick with a ship that you own, first of all. Don't pull somebody else's ship. And I'm not saying it's never going to work. It has worked. I mean, I know people that have pulled this off plenty of times. But I mean, just to be on the safe side, and if you're going to get a lot of cargo and you don't want any trouble in the long run, stick with pulling a ship that you own. So the ship has no problems knowing that you're the owner of it. And so there's obviously going to be no problems with you buying cargo. Dude, what are you doing? It works like this. Here we go. Press. How you doing? Good to meet you. So yeah, that's my little tale for yesterday. Huge the way he just glided up the stairs like that. Hey, didn't we just run across each other? How'd you get here before me? Yeah, let's sell this. And because I'm going to log off after this, I'm going to sell it no matter what the price is, so it doesn't really matter. And, okay, so let's sell this guy. Assuming there's not any weird kind of little troubles. Oh, that was only 13 SCU. 56? Am I making any money off this at all? I don't think so. Yeah, I think I made a couple of... I think I made some walking around cash. I can buy a couple of clips of ammunition, which I sorely need, so... No worries. So, once again, you guys, thank you for joining me. Sorry about clearing my throat way too much. That's all on me. I have some really limited amounts of time to record. I want to start doing a lot more recording tonight, and I actually want to start doing a lot more streaming, too. I would love to do some streaming. I got to do a little experimenting, figure out how it works. Hey, buddy. How you doing? You look a little lost. It's okay. We've all been there. No judgments. So, everybody, thank you once again for joining me. I hope you have a really good day, and I hope to see you again real soon. Goodbye, everybody.